So I'm just adding some all-purpose seasoning salt to this. So you want to make sure you season this nicely. And if you can get some of that seasoning under that skin, you get it right up under there, because this is what's going to make it taste real good. Alright, so I finish add that on, and with my clean washed hand, I'm going to go ahead and add a little black pepper. Don't be shy. Next, I'm going to add some bay leaves. I'm going to add that right everywhere. You can season this however way you like and just follow my recipe for a delicious sauce to add to it after it's done catching a little color in the oven. So just keep in mind, you don't have to season it with what I'm seasoning it with, especially if you're not a fan of some of these. Oh my goodness, sorry about that, guys. I was talking. This was a little basil, so a little basil I just added there, and then a few bits of rosemary, and then you want to go ahead and rub this on now and just get that everywhere, all over inside your chicken. So you want to ensure you get this front and back. Alright, so after I've done adding that everywhere, we're going to wash our hands again. Lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit of onion powder. You can add a little bit of garlic powder too if you have it. I'm not adding too much of this, just enough. And then you want to rub that in. We should have added that with the rest, but I forgot about that, so I do apologize for that. Alright, so my oven has just reached 350 degrees. So before we add this, I'm just going to go ahead and just pour a bit of oil all over my chicken. And then we're going to add this to our oven. And we're going to let this bake in there for about an hour, or until the skin of your chicken get nice and crispy all around, all on top, all over. You might want to transition between racks, depending on the type of oven you have. And then we'll just come back and check on it gradually. So I'll leave little footnotes if I forgot anything or if I did something differently. So we're gonna pop this bad boy right into our oven. So I'll see you guys back in an hour. Bye. Alright, so I have exactly 60 minutes left on my timer, and look at that. That is looking beautiful. That is exactly what you want your chicken. So I'm gonna pop mine on the top now, so the top just gets a really close sear. Oh, I'm gonna have to take mine down a notch. So I'm just going to take my rack down one notch, and I'm just going to put this bad boy one rack higher, closer to the heat for the next 17 minutes. It smells so good. Within this time, we're going to start to prepare our sauce. So you want to go ahead and turn your stove on. Alright guys, so for our sauce, I'm using some chopped garlic, some chopped ginger, onions, sweet pepper, tomatoes, and some freshly chopped parsley, a can of chicken broth, and red wine. And of course, don't forget your cooking oil. So we're going to go ahead and add some oil in our frying pan now. Don't need a lot. That's pretty good. And then we're going to go ahead and just add in all our seasonings. I find seasoning smells so good once it's cooking and the pot is so fragrant and it's just so nice. Alright, and you just want to mix that all together. That is looking divine. So I'm just adding a bit of seasoning salt just to give this a little flavor. And then you want to stir this in. And don't worry if your water is drying out. That is what you have these two bad boys for. Alright, so while that's going, we're going to go ahead and indulge us in our red wine sauce. And don't worry, as your wine sauce starts to boil, the heat will just cook out the alcohol. That's the first thing that goes out of this pot is the alcohol. It all just evaporates right out. So don't be shy. So we're going to add in our red wine. Look at that. And mix that in. Alright, next we're going to add our chicken broth. So you can add half a can, a whole can, depending on the quantity that you're making. Alright, our wine sauce is coming to a nice boil. Look at that. That just looks good. Smells good. You can smell all that perfume from the wine. So just to add more flavor, like a beautiful burst of flavor, I'm going to add 1 red Scotch bonnet pepper whole. And you want to take this out after some while because you don't want it to burst in your pot and then it's just all heat. What I'm trying to do is just try to get this heat to draw the flavor from this pepper, and this gravy is just going to be divine. So now that my sauce is boiling, I'm just going to turn down my stove on low, medium low. And I'm just going to lightly cover my pot and I'm going to let this simmer down, and then we're going to add that right into our chicken once it's done. My timer is done, so my chicken has been baking for approximately 1 full hour. So let's get up. Whoa. That was some heat right there. So let's get right up in there. And that looks really good. It could definitely be a little bit more crisp, but it's getting there. So while my sauce is cooking down, I'm just gonna leave it and just let it crisp up a little bit more. You can even turn up your stove a teeny bit for the 15 minutes that this sauce is gonna cook out for. So it's been approximately 15 minutes, and you see how my pepper just deflates once I open my pot? That's what happens. So now you can smell the wine much less. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to get our chicken from our oven. And we're gonna combine these two. So I did turn my stove up to 400 degrees and let this bake. Oh yes, look at that. That is just really good right there, and it made it some of its own juices. That is just gonna come in handy. Look at that. Wow. Don't be afraid of all that goodness. This is exactly what you want. Look at that. Oh my goodness. We're about to make magic happen, guys. We're gonna make magic happen. Alright, so what you want to go ahead and do now is just pour this all over your chicken. Don't be shy. The more the merrier. This is all gonna cook down nicely. You can keep the pepper in here if you're fierce and you're not scared that it'll burst. Or you can just take it out here just to prevent, you know, any accidents. So we're gonna add all this in there. Look at that. It's already cooking in the pot. Alright. So I'm just coating the chicken just to make sure it gets a lot of this juices, because it's going to soak up all this juices. Like, this chicken's going to come out of this thing, guys, legitly soft and mushing out in your mouth. It's going to be divine. Alright, so here I have 1 tablespoon of white sugar, and we're just going to add this right into there. Don't worry, it's not going to ruin the flavor. It's just going to give it a slightly sweetish taste. Alongside that, I have a plate which I added a little bit of flour and water and mixed a little paste together, and this is going to thicken up your gravy nicely. So I'm going to add that right into there, and then we're just going to mix that in. And then you want to just make sure you mix that in good so that it's evenly distributed throughout your dish. Alright, so once you're done that, you want to take a piece of foil paper and you want to cover all around your dish, because this is going to bake in your oven for approximately 1.5 to about 2 hours. Alright, so right in the oven it goes. So come in. I'll see you in 2 hours, guys. Enjoy. So with this dish, I'm just making some regular pasta. And I'm going to cut up some parsley and add some tomato sauce right on top of there. So this is pretty much done. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and check on our chicken and see how it's doing. Oh, look at that. That is just, wow. That looks really good. Gravy's getting nice and thick. We don't want the top of the chicken to dry out. Oh, I can already see the tenderness when it brushed on it just now. So just wet the top of that with the gravy, and then I'm gonna cover this back, and I still have 1 hour and 13 minutes left to go. Oh my goodness, it's seeping in these juices, guys. All right, so I just removed our chicken from the oven, and look at that. That's what's up right there. So you can go ahead and serve this with your favorite pasta, rice, potatoes, whichever one, noodles, whatever you want, bread. Like, look at that. I don't even have to really apply any pressure when I'm cutting. It just cuts right into there, and it's just soft and moist, and the meat is just tender. That's what you want. Like, everything should just be falling off. Like, look how easily that cuts. That's nice. Enjoy, guys.